Yo guys, what's going on? Explosive Christian Team Union Arena HQ here. With Orlando being less than a week away, we're here to bring you the top 5 decks that we believe you should be playing if you want a chance to win the championship in Orlando. Let's get right into it, guys. Alright, so starting with our number 5 deck, we have Lancelot. You guessed it. While most people think that this deck has fallen off, it's actually the opposite. The deck can actually keep up more now that it got its volume 2. Now, what makes this deck absolutely scary is that no one wants to take damage to constantly, especially in the state where the game is currently at. All right, taking multiple damage 2s and being able to defend against that, and if Lance is one of those decks that puts you on a time limit, a clock. And so we decided to go with Lance as our number 5 because we believe like it's not the pinnacle of the monster that it used to be, but it's not out of the running at all. And so for that reason, we have Lance at number 5. And if you do plan on going to Orlando, this should be one of the decks you consider taking to Orlando. This is our list here and what we decided to play. We did decide to go with the Cornelia package here, only because we feel that, you know, you need this at times to get Nonali out onto the field faster so that your energy is just flowing that much faster, you know? And with Nonali being a 2-drop, I think it's pushed the power of what Cornelia could do. That's our only real tech. Everything else is pretty standard and what you would see in Lancelot. You'd see, you know, the 4 Suzaku, the 4 Cornelia, the 4 of the new 0-drop because it draws you 1 and drops you 1. And sometimes Lance needs that consistency of being able to get a card that it was missing as one of its pieces, which is why a lot of its cards draw and drop. The 2-drop, of course, just being able to come down and give you that energy line flows. Nonali was so good for this deck, and I am so glad we didn't get it limited to 1 like Japan did. But this card is absolutely amazing and should be considered, you know, the bread and butter of the deck. Another thing, of course, Suzaku's, right? The Gleisker, the Lancelots. It's all a pretty standard list. It ultimately just, we tweaked and modified it here and there and boom. But this is the standard Lancelot list that you would see. But for this, you should consider running Lancelot if you're going to Orlando. This is our number 5. Now, coming in at our number 4, we got a deck that everybody's familiar with. We got Renji Rush. But this is the HQ version of Renji Rush, right? And so there's minor differences. At first, we thought this card here was really bad. But we decided to play 2 copies because 1, it's an active trigger. And 2, coming down and minusing something by 3,000 is insane, especially in the state where the game is at now. You got 0-drops that are 3,000, and like this coming and wiping one of them, or even bringing something down enough for you to just push that extra damage is just fatal. We also decided to run 3 of these instead of 2. I know most lists are only running this at the bare minimum because you want to see it only when you need it, right? But the idea behind running 3 was that you want to consistently be banishing cards in this deck. Why? Because as you're banishing cards, you're making this Ichigo live. Now, while unfortunately in this build, you cannot get the impact, that does not matter. Having a pseudo damage 2 on the board, and just like we just explained with Lance, is very powerful. And just swinging for constant damage 2, your opponent gets put in a state where they don't know what to do and they have to eventually block out and defend against this. So very powerful, especially in this build. This build is more of a fuel your graveyard, remove it. You can even banish from your back row to replace, and just feel once you have 10, this Ichigo is live and ready to go, and you just push him up and attack. Having Renji as well with damage 2 is just lethal as well. This deck is what it used to be. It's heavy damage and it just does what you want it to do. We decided to throw in 2 Orihime. Why? You don't want to see this card too often, because unfortunately it's not a you may place, it's a you have to place the top 2 cards, and you don't want to dump like 2 specials into the grave or 2 Ichigos, and you know that'll be the end of that, right? So definitely 2 of her. It's just like a techie idea. We only decided to run 4 copies of Renji rather than the new one that draws 1 and drops 1, only because you don't really care if Renji gets raided on. You're using him for his damage too. You're only gonna raid him and leave one of these in the back row just in case you need to take care of something that's 3,000, and Renji will come down, minus it, and boom, it's a good time. Of course, your Kisuke to get you there quicker. Everything else is pretty standard. We're running this to draw 1, drop 1, and yeah, this is the deck pretty much. It's pretty standard. Yeah, and so moving right along, let's go. Now, before we take you on to our 3rd deck, we wanted to give you some honorable mentions. So starting with Roy. Roy is one of those decks that it used to be on top. We believe while it's still a top contender, it's not in our top 5. Why? Because with Kenpachi running around, Kenpachi's kind of like knocked Roy out of the format, right? You can't reduce Kenpachi's BP, and so for that reason, Roy has kind of fallen from grace. The more Kenpachi's around, the more Roy's gonna like slowly drift off. Now, this doesn't mean that Roy is not a strong deck and you can't take it and win. I believe that this list right here that we have for you is absolutely amazing and can take care of anything. The secret to beating Kenpachi though, only time will tell. So if you plan to go Orlando, you can give Roy a try. Let us know down below if it worked out for you or not. Another deck we wanted to mention was Kaiju number 8. You're seeing it here first, people. Yes, green Kaiju number 8. Surprisingly, shout out to Wabi TCG. Wabi has honestly changed our vision of this deck. He piloted this deck so well that he made us just consider it one of the top decks. And so with that, we've taken another look at Kaiju number 8, and we've looked at green Kafka, and this is what we've come up with. We think you could take this to a tournament and do really solid. You will stumble on some minor decks that might give you issues, but overall, a solid choice. Feel free to take it to a tournament. All right, and so coming in at number 3, we have the man, the myth, the revived king himself, Sukuna. So Sukuna recently got a buff where they gave us this card back, and you can now play it with this Sukuna right here. And so being able to play these 2 in the deck is just simply amazing. Why? Because this allows you to basically turbo into the fingers that you once couldn't find otherwise. You had to rely on something like more Makis or, you know, Nabara to get you there. But ultimately with this card, you'll search the fingers faster, and if it's not there, you'll bottom deck all that. Sometimes it's not good, but sometimes it gets you to the finger faster than you would have seen it. So we love this deck. It's definitely one of those things that's come up in life. We decided to go with 2 Gojos, although the deck doesn't really need Gojos because it's running a lot of double energies, and you kind of play at 4 more often than you play at 5. Gojo's just good to early get you there. So you'll place down 2 zeros in the energy and then Gojo, and you're kind of just set from there to go off on your opponent, right? Sukuna kind of plays more relaxed. It plays like, I want to react to my opponent. So my opponent's being aggressive, okay. So now I'm pushing up all these little bodies, I'm attacking. Maybe you hit me off a life and Yuji came down and bounced you up. And like it punishes your opponent for playing the game. So Gojo just gets us there faster. We decided to do a 3-1 split. So 3 of the new color and 1 of the old one. Why? We were drawn between 2-2, but more often than not, if you see this card in your hand and it stays there too long, you've lost the game. So we wanted instances where this card will come up and it's good, but we felt that this card would capitalize us more, especially with Yuji being added to the deck now. So we decided to do a 3-1 split. You guys can go a 2-2 split. I don't think that's bad either. But definitely try the 3-1 before you judge it. It's amazing. It's worked out for all of us. Other than that, the one Maki was just to kind of like fuel the deck's power to find fingers again and get everything you need in your hand to kind of just decimate your opponent. Other than that, the list is pretty standard, obviously, as you see. Yeah, and so for that reason, we think Sukuna is number 3. We don't think it topples number 2 and number 1, but it does give them a run for their money. So now on to number 2. All right, and at our number 2 spot, you guessed it, Purple Kenchin. We believe that this deck is insanely powerful. This is the pinnacle of where any deck should stand if you're trying to reach the top, right? It's like Afro Samurai. The number 1 headband is being worn by our number 1 deck choice, and this one's wearing the number 2 headband and can challenge number 1 anytime that they want. So we've play tested this over and over and over, and there's instances where it goes really bad because you don't see the 6-drop, and so you get high rolled and lose the game. And that's probably the only thing holding this deck back. If you can consistently get this in your hand, this deck is insane. Putting 2 of these in your back with a full front of 4, especially with this, makes the deck incredible. And I think that this deck should not be taken lightly. You're definitely going to see this if you're going to Orlando, and this deck is definitely going to be running around. If you are going to Orlando and you're planning to take this deck, please try this list out. Once again, let us know down below what you thought about it. How did it work for you? What place did you get? We'd love to hear your feedback. And if you guys have any feedback, drop a comment down below. If maybe you think a deck deserves number 2 instead of this deck, let us know why. We're not opposed to changing the list. These are just our opinions. And so for our number 1 deck profile, you guessed it, Red Kenchin. But we're not running the traditional Red Kenchin. We're running Black Noir's 7th place Kenchin hybrid. Now, what makes it different is that you're running Sanosuke in it, right? So the 0-drop is a get trigger, and that makes this really good because now this fuels you to have 1 extra card in your hand for this, or you have a 0-drop that comes to your hand and allows you to play down the 5-drop. What's the relevance for the 5-drop, you say? So, in Black Noir's thoughts, he did not want a fair match against this card. So when you're up against a mirror match, it feels like you're going back and forth with this card, with this versus this, and it's just a constant push party, right? It's I push you back, I impact negate you, now you push me back, and we just play that back and forth game. Excuse me. With this, we don't play the back and forth game. With this, it's you push me back, I impact negate you, I push back and damage 2 and attempt to kill you. And now you block, you lose your monster. There's no pushback. And so that's where the unfair advantage comes down. And Red Kenchin has a hard time dealing with damage 2. If you can get damage 2 on the board, amazing. Another change that was made was we don't use this Karu as much. So we cut it down to 2. Why? Because we kill more often with the Sanosuke package. So because we're killing more often, we cut her to 2 and added Megumi. What Megumi does is she allows you to take a 1-drop from your sideline and add it to your hand, or boost a card by 1500 attack. So if you need that extra for a push, she gives it to you. And this is all on play. Plus she produces 2 energy. So we went with this because maybe you'll be missing a piece for like this Kenchin or this Sanosuke or this Kenchin, and she allows you to get that because you can target this. Literally your whole deck is targetable to get back. So amazing. We also decided to run 2 of the 1-drop Sanosuke's. Why? Because it's an active trigger. Simply because of that. And it's 25, and swinging with 25 is amazing. Now, I know you guys are looking at the spicy text, so I'm going to explain that too. Right here, the 3-drop Sanosuke. This card, during your turn, gets 1,000 attacks, so he's a 4K attacker on your turn. Let that sink in. Now, his text reads, if he's in the energy line, and you have a monster in your front line that did not attack, you can switch both of these cards. You can switch both of these cards as long as that monster didn't attack. Why is this relevant? Because you got a lot of yellow decks running around now, and they like to freeze your cards in place. And so if they freeze something in the front line, you'll use his effect to tag forward and still get that extra attack off. It's very great. This is a tech that Noir came up with, so shout out to him. Also with Kenpachi running around, like we said earlier, and Toshi stunning people, if they don't stun your back row, this card becomes absolutely ridiculous against them. So it's really good. Other than that, the deck is pretty standard, as you see. We just made little minor modifications because we wanted, you know, something that can beat the Red Kenchin Mirror. And so this is Noir's build. And if you plan on going to Orlando, this is the deck that we feel that you should take. This is overall every deck. This one beats purple in constant, like, matches that we've tested. We've probably tested over 50, 70 matches. It beats the purple Kenshin match. It beats the Roy. It beats the new Sukuna. It just decimates, you know, everything. That doesn't mean that those decks can't win with a good pilot. Of course they can. But this deck just has an unfair advantage against it. So you should definitely try it out. Well, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below on what you thought of our top 5 deck profiles and if you'll be running any of these for Florida. And also, remember to subscribe, like, and let us know your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you, all right? Until next time, take it easy.